Good morning, ma. Previously, we have discussed about the poisoning, drowning. Now, let us discuss about the hemorrhage in children. Coming to the hemorrhage means you know that it is a bleeding disorder. It is nothing but clot of blood and then bleeding due to any injury. And usually, the most prone members are the children and the old age people, elderly people above 50 or 60 years. Usually, children are very prone to injuries as they are in the stages of attaining their motor developments. What is the most common cause of hemorrhage? Injury is the most common cause of bleeding in brain, but those younger than 50 and in children less than 10 years. And coming to the three main types of bleeding are arterial, venous and capillary bleeding. And usually the bleeding may be either external or internal or minor skin scrape or the injury to the organ and bone. And the causes, what causes a bleed on the brain in the children means usually intracranial hemorrhages, that is brain bleeds and due to birth injuries, and that may be minor to severe, and cause of birth asphyxia or birth trauma. This causes the injuries and bleeding in the brain for the children. Annually, the causes are usually intracranial hemorrhage, minor to severe, and birth asphyxia and birth trauma. These are the things where we that cause the injury, brain bleed. Annually, more than 20,000 individuals in the United States die out of the intracerebral hemorrhage, and usually 30 days mortality rate is seen for out of 44 members, and 75% at the first 24 hours usually when there is brain bleed. The most common cause usually is the hypertension and the weakness of the blood vessels. When there is when blood from trauma irritates brain tissues, it causes swelling and it is known as the cerebral edema. When the blood from the trauma irritates brain tissues and causes swelling, it forms the cerebral edema, that is the brain bleed, and the pooled blood clots into the masses called the hematoma. When there is segregation, pooled blood is pooled, it forms as a hematoma. In these conditions increase the pressure on the brain tissue and the brain cells, and sometimes the brain cells will be dead, and bleeding can occur inside the brain between the brain and the brain membranes. You know the brain membranes, there are three membranes: epidural, subdural and extradural. Between these three layers usually the blood may clot between the skull and the brain, covering of the brain. And coming to the risk factors, the risk factors are usually head trauma to the head, high blood pressure, aneurysm, blood vessel abnormalities. Coming to the head trauma is common in the children at the age of 10 years, less than 10 years, and the elders more than 50 years. And blood pressure usually sometimes we see in the children with chronic diseases. And aneurysms, when there is a weakening in the blood vessel wall or swelling and burst and bleed in the brain leading to the strokes, usually you see blood vessel abnormalities, that is arteriovenous malformations, the weakening in the blood vessels and around the brain. They will be diagnosed if the symptoms are not seen. And when there is blood disorders like hemophilia and sickle cell anemia, and decreased levels of blood platelets and clotting, blood thinners are also at a high risk factor. And some liver diseases causes the increased bleeding, and when there is brain tumors also, it also causes the bleeding. And what are the symptoms of brain bleeding? Usually there is a hemorrhage of varying sizes and depends on the location of the bleeding and severity of the bleeding and amount of tissue affected. Usually these symptoms tend to be sudden and progressively they worsen. Coming to the causes, the common causes are usually trauma as a head injury, problems with abnormal blood vessels in the brain, and arteriovenous malformations, a balloon-like bulge in the wall of the blood vessel in the brain, that is aneurysm, weakened blood vessels that occur in the brain tumors, and sickle blood cell disease, and hemophilia, and moyamoya disease, that is blood vessels disease, and high blood pressure due to high blood pressure. Coming to the symptoms are usually severe headache, sudden and severe headache, dizziness and fainting, trouble with vision, speech or movement, confusion, extreme irritability and sudden personality change or coma, fever, stiff neck, seizures or convulsions, nausea and vomiting. These are the common symptoms you see. That is sudden and severe headache, dizziness and fainting, trouble with vision, speech and or movement, confusion, extreme irritability, sudden personality change or coma, fever, stiff neck, seizures or convulsions, nausea and vomiting. Coming to the diagnostic evaluations, how do you diagnose? The diagnosis is usually made by the pediatric neurologist and the neurosurgeon, and when the patient is taken for the emergency management for the intracranial hemorrhage. And usually the doctors with special training will treat the problems here, and usually the tests are done like a MRI or CT scan, and usually they reveal the contrast. They will check for the bleeding or any if the bleeding is not found, they will test with the contrast dye, and to note the blood vessels and brain easier how it is, and angiography will be performed along with the MRI and CT scan, and transcranial Doppler also is performed to note the harmless sound waves from the pictures of the brain and blood vessels. The diagnostic evaluations are done by the doctors with special training in the emergency room and by the pediatric neurologist or neurosurgeon and when there is intracranial hemorrhage is suspected, that is MRI or CT scan, angiography, and sometimes MRI CT scan along with contrast, and transcranial Doppler is done for the diagnosing of the brain and blood vessel abnormality sounds. Coming to the treatment depends upon the size and cause and location of the bleeding, and the treatment can include small amounts of bleeding will reabsorb on their own, and this does not require surgery. When there is a large blood clot only, that time there is a need for surgery, and according to the when there is a subdural, usually when there is subdural hematoma and extra in subdural and intradural, usually the condition becomes worse, and when there is extradural usually due to by excision only the patient will be recovered, and minor if there is minor bleeding means usually they will recover, and the bleeding will absorb again by itself, and medicines are used to control the bleeding and prevent the convulsions and control the blood pressure, and surgery is nothing but it is done to remove the trapped blood, treat the abnormal blood vessels, and remove a tumor or drain excess blood or fluid in the brain that is secreted. That means only extradural, if there is extradural hematoma, it is excised immediately. For intradural and subdural also excision is done, even though the recovery depends upon the condition of the patient and the clot that is removed, and if sometimes there may be seizure activities, that is convulsions can be seen, and the treatment is given for those convulsions and to reduce the BP also. Repair of abnormal blood vessels in the brain will be done, this may involve surgery or clip to remove the abnormal blood vessels, or catheter can be used to insert the glue or coil or balloon in the normal blood vessels. If there is any stricture or blood clot in the blood vessel, to remove that a catheter will be inserted into the blood vessel, or a balloon will be inserted. This closes it off, and this will helps to reduce the risk of after bleeding. And coming to the prognosis, Each child outcome will vary depending upon the size and cause and location of the bleeding, and some children don't have any problems after treatment, and some children will have neurological problems, and they include learning and speech or movement abnormalities, and some will develop seizures or epilepsy after the treatment, and they should have the follow up of treatment for with the doctor for the speech, physical and occupational therapy as needed by the child after the surgery. Okay, thank you ma, hope you understood the topic. We'll continue in the later.